What's up, guys? It's Larry, the mortgage guy, your mortgage insider, and certified mortgage advisor. And today we're going to go over VA loan basics. I believe that the VA loan does not have the respect and the appreciation it deserves. So, my goal is to help educate people who are interested in the VA loan, whether you are a client or an individual inside the real estate industry looking to help veterans purchase homes using the VA loan. So, like I said, I am Larry, the mortgage guy, and I'm going to share my presentation so you guys can see what exactly it is that I'm going to present to you guys. Okay. So, I'm really bad at what do you call it? PowerPoint. How do I present here? I don't even know. Insert home, file, slideshow. There it is. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and from the beginning. Is it play? Is it trying to press play? All right, again, serving those who serve. Again, my name is Larry Lee with with the Venet Mortgage. I'm a Venet Mortgage Advisor. And a quick bio, I'm a certified vendor mortgage advisor and branch manager of the Larry Lee team. I'm a licensed loan officer since 2016. And my side hustle as a social media marketing coach and running my own agency, Robots LLC. I am licensed in 11 states: Arizona, California, Florida, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. And my MLS is 1440741. My mission is that I love the mortgage business, but I was fed up with the lack of education and information clients were provided during the application process. So I created a first-time home buyer coaching class for mortgage clients that provides instant access to answers to questions and simple explanations to the mortgage process and how to qualify. I also provide one-on-one coaching for those who want it. Unlike other loan officers, I made it my passion to coach first-time home buyers on the mortgage process, and that makes all the difference of how I have helped hundreds of people get on the right path to home ownership, with many of them becoming homeowners. You remind me of many of my smart, savvy, and successful clients who are now homeowners because you are taking the right step on the home purchasing process by educating yourself and being prepared like they did. And what I mean by that is you're a part of this call, so you're obviously trying to educate yourself about the home buying process, especially when it comes to the VA loans. The home buying process is very confusing to most people, but that is why I'm here to simplify this process and make sure you are 100% prepared in the home buying process and to become ahead of the competition in this insane market. For example, I can fully underwrite my clients, get them TBD or to be determined pre-approval, meaning that TBD in terms of the property. So basically, we would push your file to get underwritten as far as possible with the further extent without a property. And then once you get a contract, we pretty much are finished on the borrower side, and we just got to work on the property side, which can cut closing times in half, and of course provides peace of mind and less headaches. And when you make offers, you can actually offer as if you're offering a cash offer because you are already 100% approved, right, with the conditional approval. So basically, I can give you a loan commitment on day one with the offer. Okay. So before I get started, I want to notice anyone have any questions. Let's see if I can share the actual slides here because I actually like sharing the slides themselves directly and not like the way I did it because again, it's a little bit confusing to me. Let's see if it allows me to do that. I don't know why I didn't post my comment here. There it goes. It finally allowed me to do it. All right, cool, perfect. So again, this to me, this is the easier way. All right. Um, I'm very proud to be a certified veteran mortgage advisor. This is like the only time I get to show off my certificate. But I work really hard, and I take this certification with a lot of pride and honor. Right. My why, of course, my wife and my kids, specifically my boys, Hunter and Bruce. They're both on the spectrum for autism, and my goal is to provide them ABA therapy. So my goal is to get enough resources this year to be able to enroll them into ABA therapy. I was told by many parents that I trust who have kids who are on the spectrum who said that ABA therapy was a game changer. So that is my goal. My other why is, of course, serving veterans, and I'll actually sort of outline, you know, my main why specifically, why veterans. My father was living in Da Nang, Vietnam during the fall of Saigon. My mother lived in Saigon. My father left by helicopter, my mother by boat. It was U.S. soldiers who helped them get into the helicopter and on that boat. They met in Hong Kong, China. If it wasn't for U.S. soldiers, my parents may not have survived, met, and had me, and I wouldn't have what I have today. I might not even exist. Those U.S. soldiers are veterans now, assuming. Um, thank you, vets. Thank you, vets. I owe you my life, and I really believe I owe a debt of gratitude to them because if it wasn't for them helping my parents survive Vietnam, I wouldn't exist. Like I wouldn't have been born. Right. So, yeah, I owe them my life. So, what is the VA home loan? The VA loan is a mortgage guaranteed by the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs and is issued by a private lender such as a bank, credit union, or a mortgage company. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think many people get confused. They think it's the VA actually lending the money, when that's not the case. It's actually us, the lenders, who lend the money. The VA is guaranteeing the loan, meaning they're saying if you lend money to this veteran based on their qualifications and what we are willing to help them with, we guarantee that if they were to default on the loan, we will pay up to 25% of the loan amount, for your trouble, whatever, because of course, when there's a default, someone's got to help them. That's why there's a down payment. So they're basically giving you a down payment, but after the fact, if needed, right? So again, they don't lend them money; they just guarantee, meaning like they will at least pay 25%, up to 25% to the lender if there was a default. Okay, so that makes a big difference. Okay. Before I get deep into the basics, I want to talk about why you might want to consider uh, helping veterans if you are not a client or you're not a veteran yourself, but you're in the real estate industry or a mortgage lender. Okay. Opportunity. Millennials and Gen Z push VA loans to a record in 2021. Millennial and Gen Z veterans accounted for more than half of all VA purchase loans in the record year for the historic benefit program, according to National Mortgage News. Gen Z in particular is starting to make its presence felt in markets across the country. Non-veteran millennials struggle, whereas veteran millennials thrive. And despite many non-military millennials having a tough time buying homes, often saddled with student debt and working to save for a down payment, millennial and Gen Z veterans accounted for half of all VA purchases loan in fiscal year 2020, according to Chicago Tribune. So many millennials are stuck on the sidelines because they don't have great credit, they don't have the savings for down payment, and they continued. And younger veterans and service members are really ahead of the curve when it comes to home buying compared with their civilian counterparts. So I want to go over those two slides again. Okay, this one is basically saying that a large percentage of VA loans are being enacted or enrolled in or being used by millennial and Gen Z veterans. Okay, that's why if you see here, you got a bunch of millennials and Gen Z veterans taking selfies, right? But the point is, we all know who's the biggest generation right now that's buying. It's millennials, and of course, Gen Z is coming up, right? So if you're going to target the biggest generation, which is millennials and Gen Zs, there's a huge opportunity when it comes to the veterans. Okay, again, they're accounting for basically half of all VA purchase right now. Okay, and this slide is my favorite slide, actually, because it compares non-veteran or civilian millennials to VA loan qualified or veteran millennials, right? Or active duty millennials, right? Is basically saying that millennials in general are struggling because they have student loan debt, they have lower credit scores, and they're struggling to save money for down payment. Well, first of all, there's no student loan debt when it comes to uh, veterans or people who serve in the military, because more than likely they use the GI Bill to get their education, so it was paid for by someone else, right? Paid for by the government, right? And there's no need for a down payment because they're getting 0% down. It's kind of like the whole point of the VA loan, right? If you guys know anything about the VA loan history, it was because of World War II, I believe, when people veterans came back, they didn't have a chance to generate income and of course focus on making sure they made their payments and everything because they're fighting a war, right? So the VA wanted to give these men and women who came back from the war an opportunity to buy a house, even though they might not have the savings they needed, or they might not have the credit history that they are supposed to have because they're busy defending our country. They're busy fighting a war. That's why the VA loan exists. Okay, so they take care of the GI Bill. I mean, they take care of the student loan debt by having a GI Bill. There's no need for down payment, so there's no are a little bit more flexible when it comes to credit scores, which I will mention in the other slide. Right. VA loan outperforms all other loans in 2021. This is something that a lot of people don't realize. Today, the VA loans actually close at a higher rate than conventional mortgages. For all home purchases in June 2021, 70% of VA loans successfully closed compared to 51% of all mortgages, according to Ellie Mae, which is the company that provides Encompass, which is like the most widely used mortgage origination system standard for the entire loan industry, right? So basically, they're saying, based on their statistics, there's a 20, like almost 20% uh, difference between the success of a VA loan versus a conventional loan, and more than likely, it's probably because VA loans are just better underwritten, right? Especially if they're prepared by someone who understands VA loans, and at the same time, a lot of clients who are civilians, they're struggling to qualify because of the higher standards, I would say, when it comes to like conventional loans, whereas the VA loan, they just have more flexible guidelines, right? So it makes it easier for someone to buy a home with a VA loan, of course, if they are a veteran, right? So they're being utilized more often. As I said, data from the Department of Veteran shows that number of VA loans went up 8% year over year in 2021, making the 10th consecutive year of growth. So again, it's being used, it's being enacted, and it sounds like more and more people are starting to understand that the VA loan is a great option, and they know more about it, right? Um, and this is, like I said, this is my favorite slide. This is what made me fall in love with the VA loan. The VA loan typically have lower interest rates, right, which means more buying power, right? Because instead of paying interest, you get money freed up to pay towards the house. So they have lower interest rate than conventional mortgages and allow for higher debt to income ratio. Again, more buying power. You know, the conventional loan, the DTIs, they wanted to keep around the 40%, right? Whereas VA, you can go up to 50%. I actually have a client that's about to be clear to close, and their DTI was 70%, 73%, or whatever. It's insane, right? And they also allow for lower credit scores. Okay. In fact, the VA doesn't have an official credit score minimum requirement. That's usually a lender overlay. That means lenders created, but the VA doesn't have a credit score requirement. Okay. And they don't require private mortgage insurance. If you can qualify for the VA loan, it's the best program out there. Okay. All right. So enough selling. Oh, actually, no, one more slide, and then we'll go into like the VA loan basics. Okay. The military is the U.S. largest employer with over 3.1 million employees worldwide. There's over 1.4 million VA loans originate in 2021, and veteran homeownership exceeds the national average by 20%. Military personnel continues to be relocated every 2 to 5 years, and career service member move numerous times, which means repeat purchase business. What I mean by that is if you can somehow become like a VA or veteran relocation expert, you will have many opportunities to help your clients because they move very regularly. Okay. Texas, and the reason I'm mentioning Texas, I'm in Texas, but Texas had 1,435,787 veteran residents in 2021, and the number is climbing. Texas also had 34 billion of VA purchases in 2021, and 28.2% of Texas veterans have a service-connected disability. The reason why that's important is because some states, Texas for sure, I think North Carolina just joined maybe a couple of months ago, where they actually give tax benefits to individuals who have service-related disabilities. Okay, so that's a big deal because, well, of course, number one, they deserve it, but number two, they can qualify better because they don't have to worry about the tax part of the property. Okay. And a little bit more statistics, 24% of qualified veteran homeowners are currently using their VA home loan. The reason why that's disturbing to me, because that means out of 100 homeowners that are veterans, only 24% of them are using the VA loan. Makes no sense to me. What's going on with the other 76%? they bought a house conventionally, FHA. Well, what happened, right? Less than 5 years ago, only 12% of veterans were using their VA loan benefits, but it is slowly growing due to the growing awareness among internet savvy veterans. And again, hopefully through word of mouth and spreading education like I'm trying to do myself, right? I want to change that 12% to like 50%. Okay. 33% of veterans that have a mortgage indicated that they did not know about the VA program. See, that is really sad to me, right? That means out of 100 veterans, 33 of them didn't even know the VA loan exists. They did not even know they had a benefit that was owed to them, that was entitled to them, that they earned. They didn't know that they could have bought a house at 0% down. That's really sad. I mean, who are the real estate agents helping these veterans? Who are the loan officers helping these veterans? Right? 33% of veterans that have a mortgage didn't know about the VA loan. That is, to me, that's disgusting. Right? I mean, it's shocking to me. Okay. Now, this is the worst part. 46% of veterans reported their lender had not brought up the VA loan option. So, out of 100 loan officers like myself, almost half of them did not even bring up the VA loan when they had a veteran in front of them. Right? I mean, that is a huge failure in our system. Okay. Uh, it's just disappointing to me. So that's my mission, is to change that. Okay. My mission is to fix these statistics. Okay. So before I go on to the next slide, does anybody have any questions? Because this is where I get to the basics. Let's see here. Thank you very much. I am allowing people to. Mhm. And and thank you for contributing, because that's very true. Also, I think I've noticed or I've seen is the internet has basically unified all of us, right? Um, and this is why I'm really big on social media, because to me, social media is about communication, right? And I want to communicate. It's kind of goofy or whatever, but when I was in college, I was trying to ask God, like, what is my mission? What am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do here? And I mean, I don't know if it was God, or it just popped in my head, but basically, yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah. There's a replay, so let's check back later. Okay. Yep. No problem. So like I said, I don't know if it's God or whatever, but of course I was just asking, what is the meaning of my life? What am I supposed to do? And what popped in my head was I need to be a messenger, right? I need to spread the word or whatever, right? So whatever word it was my goal to spread it. That's why I think social media became a big thing for me. So the point I'm making is that I think that there's a huge failure in our industry in supporting our veterans regarding the VA loan. So I'm hoping to use social media in these classes, and the people's ability to share content and information to hopefully change these statistics. Okay, that's really the point of these classes. Okay, all right. So if there's no questions, I'm going to go ahead and continue. All right. So three mandatory questions you should ask every single borrower or person that's buying a house, right? And it says three questions. Really, you should ask one question, and then it might lead to a couple other questions. Okay. The first question you should always ask is, "Are you or your spouse a veteran?" Okay. And I know it's a weird question to ask, and a lot of people are going to be like, "No," and it's kind of awkward, right? But the idea is you don't want to let a veteran fall through the cracks, especially if they don't know about the VA loan. Because I'll tell you this: if you talk to a veteran and you ask them if they're a veteran and they say yes, and then you explain to them the concept, the idea of the VA loan, and they've never heard of it, you're going to be their best friend for life, right? You're literally going to basically hand money or put money in their pocket by saying, "Oh, you're a veteran. Well, did you know there's a chance that you actually can buy a house with no money down?" And if they didn't know that, I mean, you're going to be like their guardian angel, right? So it's a pretty big deal to make that first step, because again, it's about spreading awareness. right? Like I said, 33% of veterans out there didn't know that a VA loan existed, right? Let's help fix that, okay? So if you do talk to a veteran and they say yes, then the next question you want to ask is, are you entitled to a disability from the VA? And then the final question is, do you have your certificate of eligibility yet, right? And then of course, if you don't ask these questions, you refer them to a loan officer like myself, and we're VA specialists, then we'll definitely ask these questions. Okay. All right. So the benefits of the VA home loan. Okay. Number one, it's 100% financing, right? There's no private mortgage insurance. There's no loan limit. Okay. This is the Blue Water Navy bill. Okay. And there's lower interest rates. Now, when there's no loan limit, literally means there's no loan. Like I think last year there was a big deal when the conventional loan increased their loan limits, and everyone was like kind of talking, like spreading the word about it. We in the I guess the veteran mortgage advisors community kind of laughed about it because we're like we haven't had a loan limit in years, so what's the big deal, right? But of course we're just being cocky about it, right? But yeah, there literally is no loan limit, right? As long as it meets the county limit. Now, if someone were to buy a house beyond the county limit, then the veteran is required to come up with the overage guarantee, meaning 25%. So I'll give you a quick example. Let's say the loan limit is 500,000. They want to buy 600,000, right? Well, the VA will guarantee up to 25% of the 500,000 because that's the loan limit, the county loan limit. But if they want to buy more house, the veteran is allowed to, but they would have to put down 25% of that overage. So if it's 100,000 above, then they have to bring 25,000. Okay, so they don't have to bring 25% of the entire loan. The VA is going to cover that part. Only thing above the county loan limit do they need to bring. Okay, so again, there's no loan limit as long as the veteran's allowed to able to cover whatever overages there are. Okay. So how to qualify for a VA loan? Veteran is eligible for a VA home loan if he or she served on active duty in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, or Coast Guard after September 15th, 2040, and discharged under conditions other than dishonorable, after either serving on active duty for a period of 90 days or more, any part which occurred during wartime, or serving on active duty for a period of 181 days or more during peacetime, or serving active duty under Title 10 and Title 32 orders for a period of 90 days with at least 30 days of being consecutive. Or they serve 6 good years in the National Guard or Reserves with a 16 points and receive an honorable discharge. What is the COE or certificate of eligibility? We call this like the golden ticket. Okay, this is the document from the VA that confirms your eligibility for a VA home loan. It's obtainable through the e-benefits or directly from the lender. Okay, meaning we can actually get it for you. Okay, documents needed to obtain a COE. You need to be active duty, statement of service or current orders, active duty veteran, DD 214, National Guard, NGB 22 or NGB 23, or if you're in the reserve, statement of service and point statement. Okay. Tier 2 entitlement. Can I have more than one VA loan at a time? And I actually did a class about this last week. So if you're interested, you could probably, if you're watching this on YouTube, you could probably click a link, maybe on the top left somewhere. Actually, it will be your right, top right, or in the comments. Okay. But it talks about how you can get two VA loans at the same time. In fact, I have a client that I'm working on that was using two VA loans. Okay. But yes, we will calculate the remaining entitlement based off your COE and determine the max loan amount with zero down. So the COE tells you everything. Like I had another real estate agent ask if their clients can buy if they had a short sale on their home that they bought VA with the VA loan. The only way to find out is to look at their COE. There's no way other than that, right? The COE will tell us everything. Okay. Can the loan amount be higher than the maximum loan amount determined? Yes, down payment will be required, which I explained to you earlier, right? Let's say the loan limit is the max county loan limit is 500,000, meaning conforming. Then the VA will guarantee 25% of the 500,000, which is like 125,000. But if you're buying a 600,000 house, well, the VA will cover the 500,000, and then you have to cover the 100,000, 25% down, which is $25,000. Okay. Can I apply for a VA home loan after foreclosure? Yes, 2-year waiting period before veteran can be eligible. Gain entitlement from home that was foreclosed on. The entitlement on the foreclosed home will not be restored. Basically, you've lost that entitlement, but you still have the bonus entitlement that you can work with. And again, I talked about that in the other class. Okay. There's extenuating circumstances that can shorten the wait period to 1 year involving a manual underwrite. Okay, and I don't want to get too deep on the foreclosure part with entitlement, but I'm going to gloss over it. So I'm going to give you really quick numbers. Okay, let's say, the number is actually 144,000, which is what the basic entitlement is, which is 36,000 entitlement. But I'm going to use round numbers. Okay, let's pretend you lost $100,000 home on a foreclosure, so you lost 25,000 in entitlement, right? And the loan limit is 500,000. Okay, so what happens is you have to subtract 25,000 from from what you would have gotten from 500,000. So 500,000 would be 125,000 entitlement. That means you can buy a $500,000 house. Well, because you defaulted on a $100,000 house, you lost 25,000 in entitlement. You subtract 25,000 from the entitlement from the 500,000, which is 125,000, right? So now you only have 100,000 of entitlement, right? That means you can buy up to 400,000, right? It's really simple math. I mean, I could have just done it easily. It's like, okay, well, you lost 100,000 on a home, and your loan limit is 500,000. So now you have to subtract 100,000 because you lost 100,000 of your VA entitlement already. So now you went from 500,000 to 400,000. But that's not how it works. It's not that simple. It's the entitlement part, right? But that is kind of a way to figure out real quickly what you can buy after a foreclosure on a VA loan. Okay. And again, I can go over that math later on, but you can always check out the video, which I'll probably have linked somewhere in the comments or top left or whatever, top right, probably you're right. Well, I actually break down this class. Okay. All right. So the funding fee, first time use is for zero down is 2.3% of the loan amount. That means the first time you use it, like a first time home buyer, whatever you want to call it, it's 2.3%. Okay. So example, if it's a $500,000 loan, times 2.3% is going to be 11,500. Okay. Subsequent use, that means if you were to use it again, like the VA loan again, so you're not a first time home buyer, right? Now it's going to be 3.6% of the loan amount. Okay. So again, the example, 500,000 loan, 3.6% is 18,000. Okay. The funding fee is waived if you have a service connected disability of 10% of more or Purple Heart recipient. Again, we have to look at your COE and everything like that. But let's say you are 100% disabled and whatnot, then you can have the funding fee waived. Okay. If a disability claim is filed prior to the loan closing and the claim is awarded at 10% or higher, the VA will refund the entire funding fee. So let's say you were to buy a house with the funding fee, but then you get your disability claim filed right before the closing, then and the claim is awarded, then you will get your funding fee refunded back, okay, which is kind of a cool benefit. Okay. Joint loans, again, is like a whole nother class, and I actually taught the whole class about it, but it's a cool little feature that a lot of people don't know about. So it's like a little nugget I'm going to drop for you guys. This is something that most loan officers will not know. I know this for a fact because my wife, who is also a loan officer, she does a lot of VA loans, and I told her about this, and she said I was wrong. Right? I say, hey, you can buy a house and not be married, right? Like you have a veteran and a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It's like, no, you cannot. I'm like, no, yes, you can. It's like, no, you cannot. I'm like, it's called joint loan, right? So funny enough, I've told her about it, and she's closing loans this way now. Like she actually has loans where you got the veteran and a girlfriend closing. But before I told her about this, she was like, "There's no way you can do it." But now all of a sudden, she's closing loans like that. Okay. So the other loan, it's a loan other than a veteran and a spouse. For example, veteran and a fiance or veteran and a relative. Okay. Now, if the veteran and fiance gets married before the closing, then it won't be treated as a joint loan. It'll be treated like a regular VA loan, where you actually have the husband and the wife, or the wife and the husband, whatever. Okay. It requires prior authorization from the regional loan center. That means you have to ask the RLC permission or to review the file, right? And there's a down payment required on the non-veteran side. Okay. So again, I don't want to get too complicated, but you have the veteran who basically is entitled to 0% down, as long as they didn't use it or it's not gone. And then the non-veteran borrower has to pay their side of the guarantee, which is 25%, half of 25%. So it's like 12.5%. But the math is not exactly like that. You have to actually calculate the math. But in theory, 25% is what's required for the VA loan. Half of that is gone because the veteran doesn't pay for it, but the other half needs to be covered by the non-veteran because the VA won't guarantee a non-veteran. So they have to cover the other 25%, half of it, which is 12.5%. Okay. Like I said, a veteran and fiance who intend to get married prior to closing would not be treated as a joint loan. Entitlement must be held as veteran spouse. Okay? And the income strength of the non-veteran cannot be compensated for income weakness of the veteran. So what I mean by that, let's say you have a veteran and a non-veteran, and the veteran makes all the money in the world, and the non-veteran doesn't make that much money. That's okay, right? You don't have the non-veteran carrying the income portion or providing the majority of the income for the group or the team that's buying the house. That's okay. You cannot do the opposite. Like you can't have a veteran that makes $1 a year and a non-borrower that makes $1 million a year and make that a joint loan. That's not how it works. Okay. It can be opposite, but it can't be the other way. Now, if they're equal, then that of course would be fine. But basically, I believe the whole idea or the whole purpose is that you can't have a veteran that makes nothing get like a co-bar that makes all the money and buy a house, right? That's not how it works. Okay. The veteran needs to be able to carry at least half, more than likely, or more of income. They're just having another person added so they can get more income so they can buy more house. Okay. But it cannot be the person carrying the veteran. Okay. Also, there's occupation. Occupation, yeah, occupancy. It's occupancy expectations. The veteran is expected to occupy the home because it's the VA loan for the veteran, but the non-veteran co-borrower does not have to occupy the home, which is kind of a cool thing. Like, let's say, I don't know, you got a parent and you got their son who is a veteran, right? The parent who's a civilian can help co-borrow for the son who's a veteran and make it so the son lives in the house and the parent doesn't have to live in the house. There's no occupancy compliance or laws or guidelines requiring that. Okay, so that's kind of like a cool little trick when it comes to the joint loans. Okay, there's the VA loan products. There's a traditional mortgage, 30, 20, and 15 year. There's a cash out refinance. You can pull up to 100% of your home's equity. Pricing is traditionally higher, over 90% LTV. That means if you were to borrow more than and you don't leave at least 10% equity, right? IRL, IRRL. The reason why I spelled that out because a lot of people make a mistake. They spell IRRL, whatever. And the reason why it's kind of a joke is because it literally spells out what it means, which is interest rate reduction refinance loan, IRRL, IRRRL, right? They have streamlined refinance, limited documentation, and there's no appraisal required. The VA renovation loan, which is kind of a cool loan, it's similar to the FHA 203K. It allows borrower to finance a purchase price and home repairs. They must have documentation provided by a licensed contractor, and the interest rates are traditionally higher with this product, of course, because a little bit more risk. Okay. So that's it. Anybody have any questions before I let you guys go? It's good because I'm supposed to leave and go pick up my kids like literally in 10 minutes. So this one's gonna be cut a little short. Any questions? In the chat here to see. No questions. Okay, great. So hopefully you learned something today. Obviously, there's a lot more to talk about the VA loan. This is why I do weekly classes, and every class is usually different. It's been like 3 months since I taught this class, so I kind of cycle through them. But I don't believe everyone who's on this call was on the call last time, right? And the people that called last time were not here today, right? So I'm gonna keep on recycling these classes, and basically I try to cover everything I can. Of course, Q&As are always designed to sort of adapt to whatever the attendees want or need. So if you have any question, you always attend any of my calls and then ask those questions. Then, of course, I do my best to answer them. And of course, if you come up with a question after the fact, you can always reach out to me. You can comment on any of the videos. These are streamed everywhere. Or you can just go to my YouTube channel. In this case, it's gonna be like Home Buyer Secret, or just look me up, Larry the Mortgage Guy. You'll probably find me on Google or YouTube, and you'll be able to address any question you have to me, and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay. Like I said, the VA home loan is a loan other buyers can only dream of obtaining. You've earned this right by serving our great nation, and it's my job to facilitate your dream of home ownership. So thank you for your service. And again, if you have any questions, you can always look me up, 832-606-2193, Larry.com, whatever you like. All right. I really appreciate you guys watching. And this is Larry, the Mortgage Guy, certified veteran mortgage advisor. I'm out.